Welcome back, everybody. It's time to take a look at Octopath Traveler, one of my most anticipated games. Yes. Daniel from Nintendo is back. we got to just get you a desk.
I know. Might as well just start working here.
Yeah,
it kind of works out well.
So we're going to take a look at some gameplay of Octopath Traveler here. This is a game that is striking at a glance.
Yes.
When you see this, you're like, wow.
Yeah, the visuals of it, I keep referring to it as kind of an HD 2D visual effect from it from Square. It has that really strong feel of almost like a pop-up book.
Yeah.
So right here, it almost feels like you're looking into like a diagram, some kind of a pop-up book going on. We released a demo last year. We have a new demo out today.
Exactly.
So you can check this game out for sure. What we're showing here, though, is going to be a little bit different. We're going to jump about 30 hours into the game, something like that.
30 hours?
Like 20, 30. So we have all the travelers kind of bound together. Here we have 4 of them brought together. They'll have different kind of abilities. And actually, just a minute ago, one of our travelers was able to use a path action called Guide, the cleric. And she's able to pull a follower to join her side.
Interesting.
So now that's why you saw the party was 4, and now the party is 5.
Sure.
So that's something you should be able to use in combat to call something out as they get further into that one as well.
So it has this very striking visuals, but the gameplay is pretty classic JRPG, is that right?
More RPG than just
RPG,
JRPG, because there's not as much movement into the game as you're doing that one. But a lot of it, it's really deep. If you want to go really deep into what's going on, there's a lot to learn, a lot to discover. If not, that's also fine. You can play it pretty casually. But it does build and make you learn as you go further in this game. So right now, we just actually left the town of Saints Bridge, and now we're heading to an area called Mirkwood.
Yes.
Mirkwood Trail. And here's you can see the enemies up here. Up at the top, you can see all the people whose turn it is, where they're going to go in this round, and where they are in the next round. And there's a lot of, and then on the right you see all your characters that you got there of Cyrus, Ophelia, Ulbrich, and Tresa, all different. Cyrus is a scholar, Ophelia is a cleric, Ulbrich's the warrior, and Tresa is the merchant.
There. Is that our follower just joined in?
Yes, the follower just joined in. Yes, the follower. So the cleric Ophelia has called in the follower who has an axe, which if you notice the vulnerabilities underneath the enemies. Those little icons.
Oh, cool, yeah.
You actually can see what they're vulnerable to. Now, normally when you first start, you don't know anything.
Okay,
about what they're there. You have to, so it's almost like a puzzle. You have to start discovering how do you find out what those weaknesses are for each of them. Or if you have certain characters, like Cyrus, who's a scholar, when you meet a new enemy for the first time, it'll unlock or discover one of those vulnerabilities for free, just kind of automatically. The inherent ability of them to do.
Very cool. So the title, Octopath Traveler, seems strange at first, but it actually makes a lot of sense. There's 8 characters,
Eight
right?
characters.
And does each one have their own story?
Each one has their own story, and they do eventually intertwine together as well. So, and you choose in what order you want to start playing with these characters, so you're not bound in any way to do that. And I know we're jumped ahead in this game, but if you are playing the demo, all eight travelers will be available, and you can actually play them for a certain amount of time each to start understanding what that story is behind each of them.
Can you start with any of the 8 you want?
Yep. Any way you want, and they all have their different appeals to them. They have like their path actions, like for instance, Primrose, who was in the previous demo, she's the ability to allure by dancing to get followers, versus here the cleric uses Guide. The merchant right there is, merchant's path action is, there's so many path action in the game. The merchant has the ability to buy different items. The scholar has the ability to kind of get scrutinized to get more information out of the townspeople you might not get the first time around. The warrior can challenge anybody to a fight in a town if he wants to get special items. Like, there's all these things that are going on. That's just inside the town.
He just goes around town picking fights with
people. Can. That's what he does. He picks fights and kind of does his own thing in that regard. And then you see leveling up all these these travelers as you go, and not building your party and customizing how you want that party to really function. And then you can start learning secondary jobs. So you can start learning, if you don't have all the jobs you have, you only have 4 of your travelers. Let's say you want the thief, you want his jobs, you can have this person as a secondary one to start learning new things as best you can and start really customizing all these characters the way you want.
So you start out with one character, and then just throughout the course of playing the game, you start to meet more?
You start being able to explore the other areas, the other realms that are in the map of this world. And start finding out and that's how you start encountering all those other characters and start bringing them together to build your party up bigger.
And in terms of seeing each character's story through to the end, like, is that something you have to select, or does it just happen naturally as you? It's
kind of more of a progression as you start going through, a more natural progression. When you meet that new character, you now you play through their story and how that plays out and what you want to discover from that end as well.
I see. Does each character have their own ending?
You'll have to stay tuned for that. We don't want to give away too much of the story right now. You want to kind of build up in all that and see where it goes and get further into the game and really discover how these characters all how do they all interact, what's going on, what is the overall story of trying to save what is going on in this world, and how you can help everybody out.
And each character acts as a different class. Is that correct?
Essentially, yeah. So like as the warrior has a lot more weapons, they have the ability to have 3 different weapons to fight with. Again, like the vulnerabilities matter when you start looking at those different weapons. There's kind of elemental attacks, which is kind of like magic to that extent people might see. There's like you have the elements of like wind and lightning, fire, ice, water kind of scenario. That's kind of all built into this game as well. So you start really figuring out how you can start using all these different skills to get further in the game.
And so during combat, is it true you have to weaken the enemies down and then do some sort of like a final attack to defeat them?
You can do that. So if you know their vulnerabilities, so like right here, you're able to break through and then cause what's called a break. So you can see those enemies on the far left are kind of spinning in circles right now, meaning they're actually going to lose a turn. They don't get to fight you in this round. So it's a kind of way you can start strategizing how you want to take out these enemies. But yeah, that's you start filling out those combinations. You can start using which skills, which attacks, how you want to go through all these to determine how you want to defeat all these different enemies.
Is there a cap on how many characters you can bring into battle?
It's 4.
Okay,
4 of the main characters, but you have those followers.
Right.
Those followers can come into the mix, how you use them, how you want to fight with them as well. Really start building into that whole aspect of making you pick and choose and really customize your party.
Yeah, so
what you
when
want
you
to
have
happen.
all 8 characters, it's kind of up to you how you want to put them together for your battle.
Put them together, get their experience built up, how they attack. And then even in this one too, I forgot to mention that as well, a huge difference about this game compared to some other RPGs you might be familiar with is this is from the Bravely Default team as well from Square. They added something called Boost. Boost is the ability to kind of eventually build up this extra power meter, essentially, where you have the, if you build it up, you can attack with an elemental attack or a regular attack that's more powerful than before. Ulbrich, who's the warrior we mentioned before, he has a special ability where he actually can defend using Boost to really give an ultra protection against certain enemies, like big bosses that you'll fight in-game as well.
I see.
So again, all these little layers you start building into, and you get to discover as you play through the game.
Do characters have to be in your battle party to earn experience?
I got that question. I'll have to check into that one for sure. I can't remember exactly how that one works. We can check in on that one to see exactly how that'll build out when choosing those scenarios. But yeah.
But when you level up, do your stats just increase automatically, or is there any sort of like skill tree that
there is going to be other stuff you'll be able to use and start churning how you want to build up those skills, support skills, how you want to build into that to really optimize what kind of combat you want to get involved with. Oh, we just entered the forest.
Yeah.
If you notice, the lantern she's using right there is a nice dark shadow. You can see how the mist is involved. Back to that graphical HD 2D you mentioned before.
Yeah.
That really kind of brings this vibrant world to life in a unique and different way.
And our battles randomized? Are they random encounters?
They're random encounters. Like this one right here. Now you notice that we don't know any of a lot of the vulnerabilities are missing right now because these are enemies we haven't encountered before. But some did appear because of that scholar has that talent where they automatically get to identify certain weaknesses. Now, for instance, if another person had that scholar's talent as a secondary job, they could also learn that ability, but it wouldn't be automatic. They'd have to actually use a turn to access it.
But at least it tells you how many vulnerabilities an enemy has, how many you're looking for.
Yes, how many you're looking for to discover, and
it looks like we've discovered these. So someone used a fire attack and...
You're in the forest, why not try? You start having to take advantage of the world and really think about what you could do to take advantage of the different elemental attacks you have access to within your party.
So there's a new demo out today.
Yes.
Right? Which is the second demo that's been released for this game, which is a little unusual. Is there a reason why?
The dev team actually, the dev team released that first demo back last year. With the request, like they wanted to gather that feedback to really see where is this game at, what are people liking, where are the concerns, and really see what they could do to really make this game look as awesome as it is and really create that great experience. And what they've done with that first demo, they took a lot of feedback. And the second demo, which is out today, you mentioned, took some of that feedback into account, like the ability to run, which wasn't available before. You always had to walk. There's now access to the mini-map more quickly. Certain little quality of life things explaining aspects of the game more clearly. All that stuff was taken into account. So now when people get their hands on the game for the first time now, they'll have a better understanding and more enriching experience when they get into the game.
Very cool. And is it true that you can choose, well, is there voice acting, first of all?
There is some voice acting,
voice acting in the game. And then I think it's possible to choose Japanese language if you want to.
I believe you can. I should double check on that, but I believe, if I remember correctly, in the demo you could do that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do that. I will double check on that one and get back to you on that for sure. Good question.
That's what I'm here for. This is a Switch exclusive.
This is a Switch exclusive right now. This is only available on the Nintendo Switch. which you can play on the TV, seeing on your big screen TV and all the glories, but also, again, take it with you on the go wherever you want to play with it and really get immersed in this whole world. And again, in these long combats and start figuring out all those different puzzle mechanics within the game and how do you want to build up your, as we talked about before, build up your party in all those different ways.
Yeah. And as you're saying, we're like 30 hours into the story here.
Yeah, there is in the story here.
So this is a big game.
It is a big game. It's a big game. There'll be a lot of fun in there, a lot of stuff for people to experience and go through whatever they want. And again, discover that story the way they want to.
Yeah.
Because some people might want to have more. They want to learn the dancer first, which is learning how that character story, how it breaks down, or the warrior, or the apothecary, or the huntress. And here we have the merchant, the scholar, the thief, which we don't have here. And yeah, there's just all these different things to remember about this game. There's just so much to take in, and it's just been a lot of fun. Just playing the demo myself, just unraveling how deep this game can really get.
Yeah, like not only does it have this very striking visual style, but there's also really cool lighting effects.
Yes.
I've seen like with the flame attacks and carrying a torch around the forest.
Right, which is just great seeing that being done for such a 2D game, and that's what I think make it really pop more than what the traditional RPG might think. Like back in the day when you play those older ones like Final Fantasy and those other games, like back when I was a kid on the NES and Super NES and all those things. But seeing how far those games have come along, that really now this really brings its own enrichment and character to the game that you wouldn't expect from other games.
Yeah. Have you spent enough time with it to have like favorite characters, favorite battle party?
Not battle parties, but I played with some of the characters so far. Not too many yet. I've always just enjoyed playing around with the elemental stuff. So like the Scholar right now is one of my favorite characters to kind of just explore with so far. But I'm sure everyone's going to have their own. If you prefer being that strong brute fighter, the warrior has a lot you can learn. And then again, you can still add that secondary job to sort of kind of rounding out what that character can really do for you in that game. But no, the Scholar's been my favorite personally. I'm not sure. But every people have their own favorites, so they get a chance to play the game for sure.
Do you think there'll be like a best choice of a character to start out with?
No, there is no. That's the kind of whole point. I mean, it's just kind of figuring out what you want most out of those characters, what is going to be, what kind of, just experimenting as well. You don't have to exactly choose. You can kind of just randomly go, I want to be the warrior first or the dancer. Or just see, you must be more intrigued by the art style of the character. There's a little bit of bios behind them as well. Just pick who you want to be and have fun with that and building out from there.
This is a Square Enix game.
Yeah.
But is it set in a totally new world?
It's a whole new IP, brand new. It's from the guys who did Bravely Default and Bravely Second. So it's a chance for them to really just show something complete new and take a lot of those things they've learned from that first one and really build into that one and create a whole new world, a whole new take elements of that combat system like the idea of the default out of those things with the boost, but really change it up in different ways and add a lot so much depth in what's going on with these characters. And again, the art style. The art style has been one of my favorite things about this game and for people to check out and see.
So, New World, what's like the premise, the setup of the conflict here?
Typical story, the world is in peril, and you kind of get these characters together, see how they can help save the world in different ways. But how they get to that point, that's the part of the intriguing, because again, each has their own story of each of these travelers. So really trying to get like, what are they, how does this come together? That's really going to be part of that discovery that people are going to get a chance to find out for themselves.
Do we know yet who the villain is?
We haven't revealed much of that yet. I think we want to keep that as a surprise for everybody. Again, the game only coming out in a month from now, not even. And that new second demo will give people that chance to start poking at that story a little bit to understand what's really going on in there at the beginning.
I think it is out. Oh yeah, exactly 1 day less than a month from today.
Oh, it is. Today is the
14th.
It's July 13th.
Yeah, it's out July 13th.
Oh wow, it's less than a month. So it's really soon. It'll be coming out, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This game looks amazing. It's been a long time since I've played a little more classic, sort of retro RPG game.
But yeah, that's the best part. You can just sit back, relax, just enjoy it, just discover that story, especially in bed on your Switch, handheld, or put in the TV. Everyone plays their own way, their own style. On the plane, I'll be flying out tonight, so I'll get that demo downloaded beforehand so I can check it out myself.
Very cool.
Get some hands on there, which would be great.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, giving us a look at Octopath Traveler. I think this is it. This is the last time you're coming by the IGN stage this E3.
This E3. Next year we'll see.
Been a regular around
here. But you still have a lot of round. You're still going at it for a bit.
We still have more game demos to show you here on the IGN stage at E3 2018 coming up after this.